Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so feel pretty good, man. I think the mission is to go see mom today. I didn't leave the house yesterday at all. I just didn't have the energy yesterday. I wasn't really feeling 100%, but did get some art done. I watched the Kanye West interview with academics, which was absolutely funny to me. And just enjoyed some rest, man, which kind of hurt me in the back end of the night because I ended up waking up at like, gee, it had to be about 2 in the morning or something like that, and didn't go back to sleep till like 6:30 a.m. So it evened out to me getting the type of rest that I would normally get. But yeah, man, gonna see mom, and I realized today, you know, her favorite character in her favorite movie, the gentleman who played that, Val Kilmer, passed away yesterday. She went to see Tombstones, and I'm not kidding you. The movie Tombstone, my mom went to see that at the theater probably about 11 or 12 times. No exaggeration. She went to see it about 11 to 12 times in the theater. That was her very favorite movie of all time. Val Kilmer was her very favorite character in the movie. Doc Holliday. She loved that character. That's why she went to see the movie over and over again. I just wanted to say, rest in peace to Val Kilmer, man. Rest in peace to mommy. I'm sure she can't wait to meet you. That's what I will say. Because she definitely loved you in that movie. Absolutely loved you in that movie. She never went to see any other movie as much as she went to see that one. She was kind of a big fan of old Westerns. I think she went to see Unforgiven like 3 or 4 times too. But her favorite movie of all time was Tombstone. Or at least the favorite movie that I saw her in my lifetime. I don't know if she liked something more than that when she was a kid, but as a grown-up, while I was alive, there was nothing she watched more than Tombstone. And the good thing was, I loved the movie too, so I didn't mind watching it. Now, I didn't see it as many times as she did at the theater. I probably saw it with her maybe twice. I might even went a 3rd time with her, but she went to go and see that movie by herself a lot. So, yeah, man, that was real sad for me, just knowing that my mom's anniversary of passing was, of course, on the 30th, and Val passed away yesterday, and now I'm gonna go see her today. So it's like, it's a lot, you know what I mean? But a lot of people from that movie passed away, man. Like Powers Booth, I remember when he passed away. The other gentleman who was calling Doc Holliday Lunger, he passed. It's like a lot of people from that movie have lost their lives along the way, man. So it's kind of tough, man. Can't keep nobody. But that is one of my favorite movies too. And yeah, man, I figured I'd start off by sending condolences to his family and just giving him his flowers, man. What a great performance he did in that one, and plenty other performances too. I didn't see a whole lot of his other movies, but I didn't need to see too much else. He was classic in that one for sure. So yeah, man, that's what comes to mind first and foremost. Gonna see mom, and then that's what's on my mind right now. Thinking about that. I don't know. I think he had some type of health issue he'd been battling for a long time. So 65 is early to pass, man. My mom passed at 69, so man, we just gotta be thankful for health and invest in our health to the best of our ability. You know, that's all you can do. So yeah, man, that's what's up right now. Paid off my room. Thankful for my uncle once again, making sure that's in there consistently. Praying hard, you know what I mean? Just a lot of meditation last night, a lot of meditation this morning. Prayer, continuous prayer, just asking the Lord to take care of certain things. He's been telling me things mentally, spiritually, and emotionally that are positive, you know what I mean? Not a whole lot of bad at all coming from him. Giving me prayers to pray for others, telling me not to worry about certain things that I've been worrying about. And one thing I've been asking him, I asked him this morning to do for me was just work on my social mental health, just in general. I think a lot of the ways that I perceive certain things and struggle with certain things are based on my social norms and how they tend to be more of an isolated, introverted type of thing. And you know, I was thinking about the stuff that happened as a toddler, stuff that I told you about that took place in Hollywood. I think a lot of that had to do with how I'm motioning and moving as a grown man socially. And I don't want to claim that those circumstances robbed me of a normal social existence, but what I can say is that up until this point, I believe, without actually being clinically, you know, provided this information, that a lot of what it is that I am about socially in isolation and staying away from people and not reaching out and not having close, meaningful relationships with people and not feeling all that comfortable with certain things that I think should be normal for me are because of that occurrence or those occurrences. So, you know, I told the Lord that I want to let go of some of that. I'm looking forward to him working on me in that way, helping me heal in that way, so that I can have a bit more normalcy in that way. And so that's really what it's about for me, is just asking, you know, what I can do to help myself, what I can do to be better utilized by him. And then from there, just how I can be more of a blessing to the people in my circumference and in my life, and be a bit more normal in the way of knowing people and how I perceive friendships, relationships, all these different things, you know, that have to do with being social. So that's really what it's about, man. Just asking him to work on that specific thing this morning, and aligning myself with the type of meditation that would allow him to do that, whatever would may. The closer you get to God, the more he starts creating ways to help you in prayer, come up with things that ultimately maybe you need. And that's really what it's all about, is becoming more and more creative in my prayer spaces, so that I can reach other things in prayer specifically that maybe I haven't prayed about. And one of the things I think I never prayed for, really, surprisingly enough, is to have healed from the circumstances that took place that kind of molded trauma in my life, or provided trauma that molded my behaviors. And now I look at how I struggle with certain things, and it's like, yo, man, I want to heal from all of this so I can have more of a proper perspective on certain things, you know. My distance between people and my norms as it pertains to the distance between individuals, when you start to appreciate people, know people, love people, become close to people. What does that mean to me versus somebody else? And how can I bridge the gap on how I perceive these things, so I'm not expecting people to be something they're not in my life, or expecting anything that shouldn't be expected of others, or more so not thinking things that are not true as it pertains to these type of interactions. So that's really what it's about for me, is understanding that, hey, my conditioning has made it so that I don't believe that I have the healthiest relationship with that, in that category of life. That's not the healthiest category in my mental health. And it has caused me some real troubles. It really has. So that's what I asked the Lord to do. That's what came to mind. I'm very thankful that that prayer came out, and I'm looking forward to whatever comes of that, whatever healing he wants to provide, and understanding he wants me to provide, or to provide me rather. I'm ready for it. Some normalcy, you know. So that's one thing that came to mind, and meditated on that and let it be. And a lot of things he's been telling me to let go of. You know, these things are secure. These things are not meant to be. You can tell the difference when the Lord is telling you, and I say you meaning myself, speaking from my own perspective, as if the Lord is saying this to me to bring clarity to what it is I'm saying. I can tell the difference when the Lord is approving of something and saying something's going to happen, and when he's telling me something that is not meant to be, and I need to leave it alone. So to trust that voice, and don't blur those differences with what it is that is easily accepted from within my pessimistic mindset or optimistic mindset. Certain things that the Lord, I've been praying about, the Lord has been consistent in providing me a certain level of energy and communication that this is either going to be best, or this is something that you should want for yourself, or this is something that you should continue going toward, versus what, no, that was only for a season. Nope, you may have wanted that, but it wasn't meant to be. I've completed my responsibility in this particular person's life, that kind of thing. Stay away from that person. There's certain things like that he's been giving me, particularly last night, came to mind. It was crazy. You know, one of the people that I hadn't spoken to in a while, they came to mind in prayer last night, and the energy I got was not any energy that I've received in regards to praying for them before. And essentially what the Lord was saying is, stay away from that person. This ain't none of my friends. This is somebody from my past that I haven't spoken to in a while. But as they came up in prayer, he was like, the energy was almost, they doing something stupid, or they really disappointing God, or they really missed the bus on what it is they were supposed to be in my life. And it's a shame because what they got going on now ain't no good, or something like that was what came my way spiritually last night as I was praying about them. Or rather this morning. It's about to be about 5:30 in the morning, actually. But this is what came my way. Like, it was literally like, you put your hand on your head, like, wow, that's exactly what the Lord told me or gave to me in spirit about that particular person. I had never received that before. But it was more so like, they really dropped the ball. They really missed the bus. They really, like, they messed up. Whatever the heck they got going on in their life. And I ain't spoken to this person in over 7 months, 8 months. It's like, yo, they not, stay away from them, period. Like, just don't deal with them no more. Don't deal with them. Stay out of their life. Don't reach out. You don't want to know them right now. And I don't have any purpose for you, positive purpose in their life right now. Which was shocking. Kind of shocked me. When I pray about certain people, I expect certain energy. It's like a consistent, or, you know, they got some issues in their life, so I expect the Lord to hit me with that, if that's what it is. Not with this particular person. And then, in the contrary, I prayed for somebody that I know is troubled, and the Lord was telling me, you did a great job in their life. They're going to be doing better going forward. A lot of what it is that you prayed in regards to this person has changed their outlook on things, and they're on the upswing as it pertains to them. Like, that's what he came to me about, somebody that I thought probably was more like this. So, you know, it's just trusting in instincts, man, trusting the Lord to really provide some divine communication toward me. At this point, it's not really questioned. I understand that it's a gift. It's very special. I understand it's going to sound crazy to other people who don't believe in God or don't have any spirituality. I'm fine with that. I think one of the reasons why he gave me this gift is because he has me doing this channel with this voice and the way that I use it and the things that I'm willing to talk about. I think that's why he made me wired to connect with him directly on certain things. I always have a healthy question for whether or not that voice is him, so I don't want people to think I'm just running with any old thing in my head. I look to filter that, as you guys probably heard me illustrate in this particular video maybe a couple minutes ago, as to where I don't want to question that voice, but the sanity in me, the normalcy, or the cognizance of normalcy as we understand it, will always make me wonder if this is something in a figment in my mind. But so many different things, as I've said a million times, has been confirmed in things outside of my circumference to go along with this voice, to now it's like, it's kind of silly to keep questioning it as it pertains to certain strong energies that come my way, as it pertains to things the Lord is trying to tell me. And since I ask for this communication, I meditate with the intention of being in this communicative space with the Most High. Eventually you just get to a point where you just run with it. You just run with it. You just let it go. You stop. You do enough healthy doubting. He continues to confirm in ways that you understand, and you just roll with it. And that's where we're at this point. And so, just to get back to what I was saying, that person that I thought may obviously, to my best understanding, may be somebody that the Lord would be disappointed with a lot of the time because of how they moved in my life as I knew them, and because of how I know they get down. Apparently, they're changing for the better, and a lot of it had to do with the prayers that we prayed and some of the suggestions I made in their life. That's what the Lord was telling me. I did a great job in that person's life. So I'm like, all right, well, I want to continue to do that in new people's lives, and of course, allow you the opportunity to switch things up as you see fit. And so that's what I'm hoping he'll do. Continue to make me someone he's happy with, you know, because Lord knows I've made him angry at times. There ain't no question about that. So so I'm here to say, man, people I thought would be likely doing okay may not be. And somebody I thought probably be in a misfit space is in that good spiritual space and they're growing. And so that's what I want to see. The Lord didn't tell me to reach out to nobody. I'm just sharing what my experience was this morning. And then he, you know, it was like a resurface focus, like, okay, because you learned from certain things that you've been through, now I have you involved in something else. And a lot of what you learned from the past, a lot of things, a lot of the trust that should be worked into our equation is going to help you navigate through what's uncertain in these times. And the enemy's going to try to use old ways of getting to you to make you doubt or make you unhappy or make you less prayerful. But you understand that you've gained new knowledge and new trust. So let's stay close as I navigate you through this next situation, where we're at and where we're headed. And that's what was coming my way. It's like, okay, now we're shifting now. We did all we need to do in those people's lives as an update on them and how they're doing spiritually. I'm very pleased with one of them. The other one, stay the heck away from. Let's focus on the people I have you praying for and in their life right now. Because what I have for you in this situation is incomplete. We ain't done with this. This is, you know, what we're doing. We're in that. Those things are past us, and we don't need to be going back, tracking into those spaces. So that's what I'm taking from the life that I'm in as pertains to the meditation I've been having lately. As I said, all year long I've been meditating. I wanted to start off this month on that same path, that same trust, and that same effort. And so far, so very good. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm getting a lot of energy. It's getting stronger in that way. And, you know, I'm seeing him work. It's not just me hearing stuff and trying to believe it. He's doing things that align with the suggestions that are coming my way spiritually. You know, especially in the areas of ignore that, ignore that. So a lot of times things are meant to, like I said, meant to make you, shake you off your game, make you not trust God, make you revert back to old ways of handling things that didn't involve him. The devil gonna try to poke you in old ways. When you get to a point where your relationship is starting to get stronger and you're starting to get confident in that relationship, the devil will most definitely use the old stuff that used to get to you, try to get to you now. But that relationship that you've built and the equity that you've poured into that relationship should, in theory, motivate you in a more positive and productive light. And so that's what I'm starting to be put to the test in regards to. These last couple days, last week or so, a lot of stuff been thrown at me that would otherwise throw me off. Stuff to make me think, ah, no, this ain't it. Or, oh, this is so bad. Or, oh, I'm so sad. None of that is, I don't handle those things the same way. I think that's the difference. In the past, I handle those things with crutches. Let me smoke weed. Let me do whatever I want to do in the evil way to get back at God for not giving me my way. I perceive this to be as it is. Let me sulk a little bit and let the negative take over. Nah, I got to put an end to that. You get to a point where you're like, hey, I've seen God work now. I know exactly how he wants to move me. I've seen him tell me something wasn't no good, and it turned out not to be no good. Now I know to trust him. So at this point, it's like, okay, when I start feeling like that, I get prayerful. Very prayerful. Because that's that trust and that equity, that closeness. I know where the solution comes from. I understand he's not against me as I face whatever I'm facing. I understand that he don't mean me no harm, or that he doesn't exist, so that it makes no sense to trying to invest in something. Like, all of those things are the difference. Now, it's like, I have that trust. That relationship is just intact. I never walked away from him in this era. So that means he's right next to me when I need him. And from there, has proven time and time again that this connection is real. So that for which is supposed to make me sad or depressed or bump my spirit in a negative way, nah, I'm just gonna turn to God and say, how you want to handle this? And I always knew that's how people of faith would handle things, but it took the trust to do so myself, to have that temperament, to choose to, instead of turning to negative spaces, which also have negative influences that have great influence on my head at times. You know, and that's what I always say. That's why the practice of faith is so important. It's not just a belief. It's putting in the motion of continuous investing in that relationship so that you can offset. that for which influences you in a negative light, and the negative ways of handling things that are taught to us seamlessly through everything that we experience around us in this world. And so a lot of what I'm saying is just a recap of various different things that we've talked about. I don't know that this is anything that hasn't been said already. But the bottom line is, the devil's trying to use the same old tricks to bring me into dark spaces, but I'm using new techniques to address those tricks. And so far, they are working. And a lot of what it is I've been seeing myself be worried about or concerned with is smoke. There's nothing real behind it. And that's most important when dealing with matters of spirituality, is knowing the difference between things that hold substance and things that are just smoke, meant to distract you. And furthermore, you can just wave them out of your way like that and they not bother you. But if you believe and perceive them as real, then they can scare you to death. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And know the difference. And so that's where that relationship comes in handy. So, all right, there's some other thing I wanted to talk about. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing spiritual. Ain't got nothing to do with me really at all. You know, prayers out to the gentleman, young Scooter in Atlanta, MC from the mid-2000s. I believe he made his name in the mid-2000s. In there when Thugger and them first started getting started. I believe that's when he started making his rounds. He's kind of my age. I think he passed away on his 39th birthday. I believe that's how that went, about 4 or 5 days ago. And situation that's been making the rounds on the internet. I wasn't really familiar with his music. I think I maybe had like 2 or 3 songs that he was featured on in my library of music. So I wasn't as familiar. But from what I understand, in Atlanta, he's huge. He's a legend, underground type of legend. Made a lot of noise on the scene. So basically what has been said and what's been understood is that he lost his life on the run from the cops. And the cops, from what I understand, were called allegedly unjustly by a lady who was unhappy with him. Now she claims to the public, she made a video after all this went down, that, you know, she was being attacked and she was concerned for her own safety. But when you listen to the reported phone call, which is public, she's essentially saying that this young man, Scooter, was beating up on another lady, leaving her bloody, and beating up on a child. And that was what was supposed to make it so that the police arrived. And they arrived, of course, with a certain intention to you know, address a certain type of threat level that otherwise did not match what was going on in the situation. Now, when she talks to the public here and make her little video, she essentially saying that she was afraid for her own life and that she was getting beat up on. Whatever the case may be, she'd already been caught lying one way or another. And so that, from what I understand, she was arrested. There's a law in that state for this type of thing, to where if you call the cops on somebody unjustly, and ain't nothing really going on, and somebody loses their life or has some serious bodily harm, you get charged for that. So that's what they charged her with. From what I understand, there's some discrepancy about how this individual, Scooter, actually lost his life. He definitely bled out for certain, and he definitely had a major artery in his thigh that was ruptured. The police say that he climbed a fence and either ruptured that artery on the fence, or landing as he climbed the fence on something that ruptured that artery. But this is how he bled out. It's been said that rapper Future, though I don't know how much truth this holds, hired his own autopsy team to investigate the situation, and they said, according to a tweet by Future, if I'm not mistaken, that he was allegedly shot by the police, and that's what was found in the autopsy his people did. Now, I didn't know private citizens could do could hire autopsy teams. I'd imagine wealthy people of a higher stature can do a lot of things that a lot of us can't do, nor afford to do. But I don't think I've ever heard of that before, especially if you're not a part of the family. That seemed a little strange to me. From what I understand, Future later deleted that tweet. Or was it Thugger? Young Thug actually said that Future's, I don't know, it's hard to say, but I think Thugger was the one who initially said that the autopsy team that he was referring to, not mentioning Future's name in the tweet, saying that essentially that's what was the case, that he had been shot. That's a Future just put out a one-sentence thing on Twitter saying the autopsy came back and got shot. And then it was said by the internet, however it went, that was Future's people who had provided that autopsy, and the result came from that investigation. So it's a lot of confusion there. But what the Atlanta people, the officials there, their government essentially saying he lost his life because of something that didn't have anything to do with a shooting, although he was running from the police when this occurred. And so as a result, it was that phone call that brought the police to the situation, which ultimately transpired in him losing his life. So it's a lot to look at in that situation. But I guess my point of view is just to say, I think that that's a very just law. When people use whatever they intend to bring about intentions that harm others by way of the police, calling the police when they're not necessarily needed to be called, fabricating on the circumstances to bring a certain energy to the situation, it's very, very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Now, I can't tell you why Scooter ran. There's a world where black men are afraid of the police and should be running any damn way. They don't need nothing on, you know, they can. We've seen and heard of situations where they planted things on people, where they shot people when it wasn't no problem. When you call the cops, they come and shoot you. So off the strength of that understanding and fear, coupled with this being a situation where it was like 7 or 8 people there, somebody might have been dirty. Everybody could have been running to keep from having to answer for whatever person was dirty. You see what I'm saying? It's not as simple as, in this particular situation, with this particular group, if you're not guilty, you should not run. A lot of people are afraid of police and are going to run, and have just reason for that. We're raised in certain neighborhoods where we run from the police even when there ain't nothing going on, because you don't know what their intentions are, nor do you want to have any parts of them. For all you know, you're going to suffer a beating just off the strength of them thinking you're a problem. So I understand the logic of people outside of those environments saying, if you're not guilty, why run? But I also understand the logic of people who are from them environments running when they're not guilty. And I want people to understand, I understand both perspectives. And so I'm not here to try to lean into one or the other. I will just say that he did run. And this is what happened when he did. The cops should not have been called for what it is that she said was going on there. And because of it, these circumstances were possible that ultimately resulted in his life not being with us anymore. I understand a world where you don't think the cops are going to come fast enough if you say I'm in trouble. So you say other people are in trouble and other things are going on so that they'll hurry up with a certain intention to come see about you. I understand there's a world where that's maybe necessary. That's what I also want to put out there. It is possible that she felt like she was in some type of danger and lied to the cops on the 911 call so that they would hurry up and show up, for fear that if she told them the truth, they wouldn't show up in time, wouldn't show up with a certain urgency that she felt was necessary. There's a world where that is actually possible. And there's a world where she had no business calling the cops at all. She was not in any danger at all. And she just wanted to call the cops on this young man because of something going on personally. that she wasn't pleased with, that had nothing to do with her being beaten on or anyone else being beaten on, least of all with a child involved. The internet is saying a lot. The internet essentially said that he didn't want her to come to his birthday party, which was that day, obviously. And because of it, she was offended. Maybe an argument took place. She called the cops from there, trying to get back at him so that he would get arrested instead of being able to make his own party. Because if I can't go, ain't gonna be no party for you. That's what the internet is alleging her intentions was when calling the cops. So I don't know. All of that has its own reaction to it. If I'm being fair, all of those different scenarios have a unique reaction from me. But what I can say is, if you're African American, particularly if you're in the hood, calling the cops can be a death sentence for us. Regardless if you got good intentions, the right reasons, seriousness, not so seriousness, you bringing them to your situation a lot of times equals death in these neighborhoods we at. And just be honest. Black people specifically, also probably others too. But this is a lot of times for blacks and brown people. In our neighborhoods, you call the cops, they come in with a certain intensity just off the strength of the neighborhood they're going to. They're expecting to have gunfire, probably more so than anywhere else. They're expecting to have to be brute in order to win, probably more than anywhere else. So they coming deep. This neighborhood, that neighborhood, they coming deep, bro. If you're going to call them, especially to an area in those neighborhoods, you know they coming hard, and you know in the environment of your neighborhood, somebody is going to have a reason to run. It may not be the person you calling on, but somebody in that vicinity, chances are, unfortunately, is going to have a very legitimate reason to not want to be searched and to not want their stuff around. So when you call the cops in those environments, with those type of people around, it could be a potential where not just one person is going to run, but everybody's going to run so that they're not left behind to answer questions about somebody else. That could be why Scooter ran. He might not have been dirty at all, but the homie might have had something going on. And so if the homie's not there when they get there, and they looking for somebody in the neighborhood anyway, which in a lot of cases they may be, then when they get there and come there thinking they're going to meet up with something violent, they come in with a certain brute force, they taking everybody down, they bringing everybody in, and then they're going to start trying to ask questions that people do not want answered. So everybody's not be there so that they can't answer questions. Everybody not be there so that they can't beat the hell out of them. This is the reality of a lot of these type of circumstances all over America. This is the kind of thing that you can expect. Which is why it's important that we consider these things when assessing people of color in these neighborhoods, running from the police, not wanting to interact with the police, and different that. Because in these neighborhoods, by design, there's going to be some dirt. Now, that's a terrible stereotype, unfortunately. But the nature of poverty and the desire to meet the culture of wealth is going to make it so that stereotype is real in every neighborhood. This is just what it is. We don't want people to think of us as dealers of this. We don't want people to think that we're doing this or scamming that. But the reality is, they've been pushing this into our head that we need to be wealthy from a space of poverty. And there ain't too many ways to that. So it ain't hard to tell that in 1 out of 10 black people in those neighborhoods, somebody, if not a lot of bodies, are going to be, by nature of the culture and the understanding of the fear of complete and utter brokenness, going to have something going on that the cops are going to be able to do paperwork on. It's just the nature of the circumstance. It's what's created. And so when you're going to call the cops on somebody in those neighborhoods, yeah, there's going to be some people running. Maybe they didn't do what you call them for, but they might have something else going on they don't want to have to answer about. She understands this. She's from the neighborhood. She understands this. So when she calls, She knows that she's putting people in danger. And she did not care. And that's why I think that rule or that law that they put in place in Georgia is so important. Because people are going to do this type of stuff. We see it in the Karen culture, where people will call the cops on people just because of their skin, or call cops on people because of their culture. They ain't got nothing to do with nothing. They just calling. I don't like how that person looks. I don't want them in my neighborhood. I feel a certain way, I'm calling. That type of stuff needs to be met with a certain consequence, because at the end of the day, you putting people's lives at risk. You wasting the authorities' time when they could be focusing on real problems and real risk. And things like this do transpire. Cops are trained to shoot center mass. They gonna shoot somebody. They gonna arrest somebody. They gonna beat somebody. It's in the training. So when you call them to these environments, the chances that they gonna be like that is damn high. Damn high. And so that's what I have to say about that. I think that she should get whatever is appropriate. My mindset and what I think is appropriate for her in terms of punishment may not have anything real attached to it. So I dare not share what I think she should be, how long she should go to jail. I don't know. This man lost his life because she called the cops. Now you could say he lost his life because he ran. He lost his life because I read somebody said that he tried to jump a fence like he was 19 at 38 years old. Hey man, I have a reaction for that, if that's what it was. I withhold that reaction because I don't know if that's what it was. Maybe they shot him. Maybe he did bust his artery falling. I don't know the truth. Got a reaction for all of that. But at the end of the day, what I can react to is the facts. And the fact is, this man lost his life. She called the cops, and she has already been proven lying at least once. So there's a lot of reason to believe she probably lied twice. And her demeanor in regards to reading her energy coming off in the camera toward me, she looked like a woman who needs to learn a lesson. She looked like somebody who didn't think nothing this bad was going to happen, but did want something bad to happen. That's what it looked like to me. And she got what she got, and now she's going to have to get what comes with that. And unfortunately, Scooter lost his life. And so that's really what there is to say about that. Prayers out to Scooter. Hopefully this young lady, you know, makes it. Because Scooter was well loved in the streets in Atlanta. So you're going to get locked up. You're going to be in there with some people that probably loved him a lot. And they're going to blame you for what happened to him, man. So that's what she needs to understand. If she got some friends in there, she needs to make sure they're around. If she got people who can have her connected, protected, that's necessary right now. There's a lot of powerful people who loved him a lot. He wasn't the biggest star, but he had big stars behind him. He might not have been the biggest G, but he had big G's behind him. So it's like, she really messed up, man. She really messed up bad. Maybe she thought, maybe it wasn't what she said it was. Maybe she was in fear of her life. But if you're going to call the cops and bring them to an environment like that, now you got more problems to worry about. That's just what we know. You're worried about one butt whooping, you're going to be worried about 7 butt whoopings for what it is you did. Maybe you should think twice about involving them in them situations, and maybe involve some people that you know in them situations to help police that situation, instead of bringing the authorities who could throw a lot of people in jail for stuff that ain't got nothing to do with what you're talking about to the situation. Now you got a lot of people unhappy with you that didn't have no thoughts about your situation. You know what I mean? So that's, just got to be smart out here, man. People got to be intelligent and not be so devious and so entitled to what they want, and feel so wicked in the nature that they're going to get back at somebody because they didn't get what they want. That energy end up biting you a lot of times. Some people think they're doing this, that, and the third. All they're doing is asking for their own fate to be sealed in that situation. You know what I mean? So this is why we say, man, bless yourself with a relationship with the Most High. Guard your energy. Handle things in meditation and prayer. Man, this is why. Because all it takes is a few moments of somebody feeling resentful, doing something they ain't got no business doing, transpiring all types of stuff that ain't got no business happening. You know what I'm saying? And if your relationship with God is strong, He gonna put that voice in your head to say, nope, don't make that call. Nope, don't even go to that house today, because this ain't the day to be there. Don't even want to be at that party, because that party ain't for you today. I'm sure if her relationship was strong with God, she would have felt that somewhere, somehow, and would have been strong enough within her mind to follow that voice. But when you're moving on the devil's timing, you're going to have the devil's consequences every time, man. That's what we talk about. This ain't no different. Bdf 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.